the Stasi wanted Dr. Hartmann to help them frame and arrest two American scientists scheduled to attend a mathematics conference in East Germany.
For me, it was in the first moment clear that this is probably the worst thing what can happen in my life. That these people come and ask me for such a thing. Because when I say no, my life in East Germany is over. That's it.
Dr. Hartmann never agreed. Born in 1944, while his father and oldest brother were fighting on the East German front, he had spent his whole life fighting the system that now came for his help, a system of social rules that even tried to prevent him from becoming a mathematician. Despite knowing the consequences of his decision, Dr. Hartmann immediately smuggled a letter to America to warn the scientists not to come to East Germany.
So, because my professional career was finished, it was terminated with my refusal to work for the Stasi, I had to find ways to get out of the country. I did not want to stay there and work on a farm or in a physical labor. I was a scientist, a mathematician, and so the only one way for me was to leave the country.
Under a humanitarian law intended to help families stay together, Wolfgang filed 17 applications to immigrate to West Germany to join his mother, but the applications were all rejected. Then his mother got very ill.
My mother was asking for me to see her, my real mother in West Germany. She was writing letters also to Honecker. We both were writing letters to Honecker. We were writing letters to every important person in East Germany.
In 1983, Wolfgang's mother passed away. With his 18th application, Wolfgang requested that he'd be allowed to attend his mother's funeral. But once again, the application was refused.
What I did after the last refusal to go to the funeral, on the day of the funeral, I wrote a poster, Human Rights for East Germany. I took that to the central place in Dresden. It was a Friday afternoon, and I held it above my head and was walking about 5 minutes across the central place. It was so unusual for Germany that immediately 300-400 people were around me and celebrating me. They were just cheering up that somebody has the courage to do that.
Hundreds of people cheered for Wolfgang as police took him away.
But the people were around me still, and there were one woman, I can remember her face on the window of the car. She was hammering on the car, and she was cheering, and she was so excited. Yes, that I did this, and she was just cheering me up there.
He was subsequently brought to Stasi headquarters for questioning.
So I was, the entire night, 8 hours, I was interrogated. First of all, who I am, and then what drove me to do the demonstration for human rights. They wanted to know everything about all my friends. I told them I don't have friends. Never any name of any friend.
Wolfgang spent the next 2 months in solitary confinement, in a 6 by 9 foot cell, with nothing but a bed which he wasn't even allowed to lay down on. There wasn't much to make time pass. Soon he discovered that he wasn't alone in his small, dark cell. He heard regular pounding on the walls in other cells.
And I tried to listen to this rhythm of this noise against the wall. And I figured out slowly, very slowly, that these people are talking by making noise on the wall, by banging with their fists on the wall. And it took me some time to realize that they were using basically for the letter A 1 hit, and for the letter B 2 hits, for the letter C 3 hits on the wall. And if it came down to Z, it was very, very tedious, yes. So they tried to avoid this. And I was sentenced for my demonstration. human rights for East Germany. I was sentenced to 3.5 years prison.
After the sentence, Wolfgang was transferred to a prison in Cottbus, where incidentally his father had served time as a prisoner of war during the Second World War.
Cottbus were about 50% of the people like me who tried to escape in some ways to West Germany, and the other 50% were Witness Jehovah, who did not serve at the military in East Germany. So they were very reliable people, the Witness Jehovah in prison. I have to thank them a lot.
Wolfgang had to find out whether he had even a slim chance of ever getting to the West.
For me, it was very hard because the work was very hard. And I was not sure if I can go to West Germany. This was one of the most psychological, difficult things for me to handle. Because if I would have gone out to East Germany, back to East Germany, I would not have gotten a job. It would have been very, very, very difficult for me to survive in East Germany because I was a criminal there in East Germany.
He knew that a warden in the prison would help him find out.
I knew that this ward was famous for beating prisoners. So I thought if he would beat me, then I know I do not go to West Germany. Because people who go to West Germany were not beaten in prison. Because they were fearing the media in West Germany, and they were leaving them alone as much as they could. So people who could leave, they could do a little bit more, because the ward knows exactly. The Stasi already decided before who can leave the prison to the West Germany or who has to go back to East Germany. And that was the test I wanted to know. So when I was talking with him about this letter with the ward, I provoked him. I told him I will write this letter again and again, every week. And he got red in his face. He was close to exploding, and he wanted already to beat me. I saw already that he moved, and then he stopped. In the middle, he stopped and took his hands on his back and was holding them like a cramp. Yes. And then I knew I will go to West Germany, because he wanted to beat me, but he didn't. He had his instructions already.
Wolfgang knew that eventually everybody would get out.
Somebody was sitting on the door and calling from the outside, "Hartmann, transport." And that was for me, okay, I'm going. And I said hello to everybody. I thought there's a small chance I go to a different department again or so. But the big chance is 80% I go to the West now.
The West German government had agreed to pay for his release.
Nobody is released to East Germany after 14 months when he has a 3.5-year sentence. So I was sold.
With the help of a human rights lawyer and the West German government, Dr. Wolfgang Hartmann was finally free.
The entire 5 last years of my life in East Germany were basically a chess game with the Stasi I played, and I won.